Merry New Year!
Merry New Year!
Some time ago, I talked about an underrated sci-fi rom-com, Timer, and how sci-fi was used to tell a story with themes of fate and true love. Well, today I want to talk about a sci-fi romance that's perfect to watch on New Year's Day because of its theme of new beginnings. Today, I'm going to be talking about Age of Adaline. So the story starts on New Year's Eve with Adaline Bowman going about her day and preparing to start a new life with a new identity shortly after New Year's Day. When she gets to work at the library, she begins to archive old newsreels from the turn of the century, which takes us into a flashback showing Adaline's life. She was born at the turn of the century and she married a man who was building the Golden Gate Bridge. They have a daughter and he is tragically killed. One New Year's Eve, she's on her way to pick up her daughter from her parents and she has a car crash. It's this accident that makes her, I guess, immortal. She doesn't notice at first, but when decades go by and her daughter is a college student and Adaline looks exactly the same, she realizes she's different.
You look like sisters.
You better stop, it'll go straight to my head.
How is that possible?
A new face cream from Paris.
By this time, it's the 40s, and when the government gets wind of her condition, they want to run tests on her.
Couldn't be helped, ma'am. You have no record of your residence. This way, please. Nothing to worry about, Miss Bowman. We're just going to run a few tests on you.
So she realizes she's gonna have to be on the run for the rest of her life. Every decade, she creates a new identity and moves to a new location so that the people around her doesn't catch on to the fact that she doesn't age. Back in the present, it's 2014 and she's been doing this for decades. Her daughter now looks old enough to be her grandmother.
Happy birthday, Mama.
Time is a major element in this movie. Adaline was born on New Year's Day, 1908. Then 29 years later, it's on New Year's Eve that she becomes 29 forever. Again, in 2015, it's New Year's Eve when she meets Ellis, the man who initiates change in her life. New Year's Day symbolizes new beginnings, and Adaline Bowman is a woman with nothing but new beginnings.
What are you talking about? You got nothing but future.
Normally, a new beginning is seen as a relief and or a blessing, a much needed change. In this movie, Adaline is limited by her new beginnings. The only long-lasting connection she has is with her daughter, who is getting older and is more towards the end of her life. She has another temporary connection in her dog, who was bred from the long line of dogs that she's kept in her lonely life. Now she meets Ellis, and for the second time since she's been on the run, she forms a connection with someone.
No, you're not sure.
Actually, I am, but I don't want to come across like a know-it-all.
Too bad, I adore know-it-alls.
She wants to leave him behind like her last love, but her daughter encourages her to stop running and fall in love. It's been many years since she's been on the government's radar, and everyone who was after her has long been dead.
Nobody's chasing you anymore. Anyone who is ever suspicious is long dead.
But Adaline can't let go of the transitory life she's built. She does not believe it's safe to stay in one place for long. But after her latest dog dies, she decides to enjoy her moment with Ellis. So she goes home with him to meet his parents, and she discovers that his dad is the lover she left behind many years ago.
This is my dad, William. Dad, this is Adaline.
So she's only been in love with two men outside of her husband, and they turn out to be father and son. Obviously, there was something about that family she liked. The father is taken aback, to say the least, when he lays eyes on Adaline. But since she is going by the name of Jennifer concurrently, she's able to convince him that Adaline was her mother. It was a very awkward start to a very awkward weekend.
We were very close.
You said that already, honey. I can't believe you never mentioned her.
An extraordinary woman.
Yeah, well, it runs in the family.
But of course, eventually Harrison does realize that she is Adaline and is amazed at her secret. Finally, he understands why she left him behind. And like her daughter, he encourages her to stop running and fall in love. With his son? Okay.
All these years, you've lived, but you've never had a life.
Please, for yourself, for Alice.
Stay, Adaline.
She gets scared once her secret is out and runs away. As she is driving away, it starts to snow. Something significant since they are in California and the last time it snowed was when she had her immortal accident. She decides to stop running. But then she gets hit out of nowhere by what I think is a tow truck. And like her first accident, she dies and is brought back to life. But this time, when she comes back, she starts aging again. It's like the very act of deciding to stop running allowed her to move on. It was as if her life was in suspended animation and it started again the moment she decided to be vulnerable and be in love. One wonders if this was a lesson she had to learn after her husband died. Had she been living in suspended animation, not moving on, just going through the motions? So life put her in suspended animation until she decided to have an actual life and not just exist. The question arises, had she stopped running with Harrison Ford, would she have started aging back then? It's funny how that opportunity passed, but it came back around 40 years later in the person of her son. Maybe she was always meant to be with someone in that family. But finally, someone with nothing but new beginnings finally found an end. We're brought back to the element of time. The movie starts on New Year's Eve, and it's on New Year's Eve 1 year later that she discovers that she's aging. And unlike any other woman before her, she's happy about it. Adaline decided to love and be loved and was rewarded with her final new beginning. The beginning of the end. She will finally get to have the love, life, and family she never thought was possible. And on top of everything else, she was rewarded with a rich husband. So learn to let go and refuse to live your life in suspended animation. You may just be rewarded with the new beginning you've been dreaming of all along.
What about Thor, you ask? He embarked on a new journey because he had found something to live for, something to love for.
Go to hell, demon!
Have you watched Age of Adaline before? Do you think it's the perfect movie to watch on New Year's Day? Let me know in the comments below. Tune in Friday when I talk about one of the scariest comic book villains ever. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know the next time I upload or go live.